3 stages. And really understanding them explains why the skin feels so incredibly unpredictable during this time.
So what does that first stage, early perimenopause, actually look like?
Well, it begins much earlier than most people realize, often way before any clinical recognition or, systemic symptoms like hot flashes show up.
So you might not even know you're in it.
Exactly. The estrogen drop isn't some steep, straight cliff. It's more like a jagged line of fluctuations. And because the shift is subtle, the visible signs on your skin are going to be subtle too.
Like what kind of signs?
You might just notice a bit of minor tightness after washing your face that wasn't there before. Or maybe just a random mild sensitivity to a serum you've literally used for a decade.
Okay, that makes sense. But then the second phase hits mid to late perimenopause, and the clinical data describes this phase as sheer biological chaos.
Oh, complete chaos.
Like the skin might be flaking from dryness on Tuesday and then suddenly breaking out with oil by Friday. I was trying to visualize this while reading, and it feels like a house where the thermostat has lost its main temperature sensor.
That is a perfect biological parallel, honestly.
Right, like the heater kicks on and then suddenly the AC blasts, and the house has absolutely no idea what environment it's supposed to be regulating.
Yeah, the thermostat is completely broken. Your body is pumping out totally different levels of hormones week by week, and your skin is just desperately trying to react in real time.
Which explains the wild swings.
Exactly. And during this specific mid to late phase, 2 critical mechanisms start to fail. First, the rate at which your skin sheds dead cells begins to drastically slow down. And second, your natural antioxidant defenses begin to weaken.
Those are like the built-in scavengers that neutralize environmental damage, right?
Yep, they just stop working as efficiently.
Which brings a lot of people to the brink of just giving up on their skincare entirely. But reading through the analyses of the third phase menopause and postmenopause, there was this massive, reassuring aha moment for me.
The chaos actually ends.
Yes, it ends.
Right. The body finally establishes a new baseline. Following that final significant drop in estrogen, the hormones actually settle into a stable state.
So it's not a permanent roller coaster?
No, not at all. Now, the skin at this postmenopausal stage may be structurally thinner than it was in your 20s, but it completely regains its predictability.
The wild fluctuations just stop.
Yeah, your skin understands its new environment now, which means you can finally treat it with a consistent routine again.
But that chaotic middle phase is what really trips everyone up. I mean, I think about you listening to this right now, maybe standing in the skincare aisle, staring at a bottle of your favorite moisturizer that just suddenly stopped working last month.
Yeah, that's such a common experience.
And the sources emphasize that fixing this requires understanding the difference between dehydration and lipid depletion. I know the word ceramides is like plastered on every drugstore bottle right now, but what are these fats actually doing?
Okay, so we have to picture the very top layer of your skin, the barrier, as a brick wall. The skin cells themselves are the bricks.
Okay, I'm with you.
But a wall isn't waterproof without mortar, right? That mortar is made of essential lipids or fats, and that protective shield relies heavily on estrogen to signal the production of those fats.
So menopausal dryness isn't just a lack of water.
No, it is fundamentally the loss of the mortar. When estrogen drops, the production of those vital fats drops right along with it.
So splashing water on your face or, applying a lightweight water gel does absolutely nothing to rebuild the wall. You have to replenish the actual mortar.
Exactly.
The sources outline 3 specific fats we lose. Ceramides, which act as the literal glue holding the cells together. Fatty acids, which provide that flexible suppleness so the skin doesn't crack. And cholesterol, which gives the barrier its structural rigidity.
And without those 3 lipids, we run into the exact biological reason why your favorite moisturizer is suddenly failing you.
Because it doesn't have the fats.
Right. Many popular daily moisturizers are formulated primarily with ingredients called humectants. Things like hyaluronic acid and glycerin are the most common ones.
And those are just grabbing water, right?
Yeah, humectants are essentially biological sponges. They are fantastic at pulling water from the air and drawing it into the skin.
But using only humectants on lipid-depleted skin is basically like pouring water into a leaky bucket. Like the hyaluronic acid pulls the hydration in.
Pillar
but
3,
if you haven't
holistic
patched the
wellness.
holes in the bucket
From skin
with those
treatment to
ceramides
restorative
and fatty
ritual.
acids,
The
Soothing
water
skin
just vanishes.
It just
conditions,
leaks
relieve
right
muscle
out.
It
tension, and
evaporates
promoting deep
straight through the
relaxation.
compromised shield. There's actually a
Pillar-
clinical
The
term
Salt
for this.
Scrub Playbook. From surface exfoliation to cellular wellness.
That sounds
Apply the scrub to damp
intense.
skin
It
in gentle
is,
circular
because
motions.
the water escapes into
Exfoliate
the
to
air,
reveal
and
smoother,
it often
healthier
takes your
skin.
skin's natural moisture right with it.
Oh, wow. So you end up trapped in this frustrating cycle of like temporary superficial moisture followed by chronic deep tightness a few hours later.
Exactly. You absolutely must apply the lipids to seal the barrier and lock that hydration inside.
Okay, so if that's what's happening on the surface to cause the dryness, what is that same estrogen drop doing to the actual architectural foundation underneath?
That's a great question. We have to look at the dermal matrix.
Right, where the actual structure of the face is built, and the texts focus really heavily on these specialized cells called fibroblasts. What do they do?
Fibroblasts are basically the cellular factories responsible for manufacturing collagen and elastin.
And collagen is the dense scaffolding that gives skin its firmness, while elastin is like the rubber band mechanism that gives it bounce, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
Under normal conditions, estrogen acts as the foreman of that factory. It's constantly signaling the fibroblasts to keep producing. But without that constant estrogen signal, the fibroblasts they become sluggish.
They get lazy.
Yeah, they literally stop producing new scaffolding.
The factory slows down, which leads to thinner skin and obviously the appearance of fine lines. But this actually connects to a really fascinating visual illusion mentioned in the text.
So the pore illusion?
Yes. People often look in the mirror and completely panic because they think their pores are suddenly stretching out and getting larger. But pores don't have muscles, right? They can't actually change size.
No, pores absolutely cannot stretch.
Yeah.
What you are actually seeing is the loss of the surrounding structural scaffolding.
Because the fibroblasts aren't pumping out firm collagen anymore.
Exactly. The dermal tissue around the pore starts to cave in slightly. It loses its density. So the pore simply appears larger because the skin around it is, well, it's slumping.
That makes so much sense.
And at the same time, because cell turnover has slowed down, dead skin cells start piling up unevenly on the surface. That uneven surface scatters light rather than reflecting it smoothly.
Which is the biological driver behind that sudden dullness people notice.
Right, exactly.
So we have sluggish factories and slumping pores, but this biological recalibration also triggers a deeply frustrating issue, which is adult hormonal acne.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, why would someone at age 45 suddenly develop deep, painful breakouts localized right along the jawline and chin? It just feels completely unfair.
It does feel unfair, but it happens due to a mechanism called androgen dominance.
How does that work?
Well, when you were a teenager, acne was usually driven by a general massive surge in oil and bacteria all over the face. But at 45, it is entirely about the ratio of your hormones.
Because the estrogen is dropping.
Right. Estrogen usually masks the effects of androgens, which are, male hormones like testosterone that we all naturally have. As your estrogen plummets, your androgen levels remain relatively stable.
So the androgens suddenly have the louder voice in the room.
Precisely. And that specific hormonal dissonance sends a really powerful signal to the sebaceous glands to drastically ramp up heavy oil production.
And why always the jawline?
Biologically, the sebaceous glands around the chin and jawline are just highly sensitive to these androgens, which is why the breakouts localize there. And they're often deep, cystic, and painful because that heavy oil gets trapped under that slow-to-shed layer of dead skin we talked about earlier.
Which is just a perfect storm. And the immediate instinct, of course, when we see a breakout is to treat it like teenage acne. We just grab the harsh, drying salicylic acid washes or those really heavy benzoyl peroxide creams.
Which is a catastrophic mistake.
Yeah, the sources really emphasize that doing this during perimenopause is awful because of this cellular state called inflammaging. What exactly is inflammaging?
Inflammaging is essentially the intersection where chronic low-grade inflammation actually accelerates the biological breakdown of your skin.
Wow.
Yeah, see, estrogen is naturally anti-inflammatory. It keeps the skin's immune response calm. So when you lose that estrogen, the immune system starts to misfire. You just stay switched on at a low simmer all the time.
So the skin is already in this heightened state of reactivity.
Exactly. The lipid barrier is compromised, and the healing response is incredibly slow.
So applying a harsh, stripping acne wash to that environment is just like throwing gasoline on the fire. You are attacking a delicate, lipid-depleted barrier that is begging for support, not punishment.
Exactly. You have to be gentle.
Well, if the surface is leaky, the factories are slow, and the immune system is misfiring, we clearly need a tactical way to intervene. And thankfully, the sources provide a really solid clinical playbook.
They do, yeah.
It features this support squad of ingredients followed by 3 gold standard methods. Let's look at the support squad first.
Right. So before you introduce any powerful active ingredients to wake up those lazy fibroblasts, you absolutely must calm the inflammaging. The skin needs physiological soothing first.
So what's in the squad?
We look to ingredients like niacinamide, Centella asiatica, and oat extract. Niacinamide is a form of vitamin B3 that basically tells the skin to build more ceramides while simultaneously blocking those inflammatory signals.
And Centella asiatica, it sounds incredibly botanical, but what is its actual clinical function?
Well, listeners might actually know it as tiger grass. On a cellular level, Centella asiatica physically inhibits the specific enzymes that trigger inflammation.
So it dials down the immune system's overreaction.
Exactly. And oat extract performs a very similar soothing function, but we also need to address that buildup of dead skin without triggering more inflammation.
Because physical scrubs would just completely tear that fragile barrier up.
Oh, absolutely. Don't use those. The texts recommend lactic acid and mandelic acid.
I know there are chemical exfoliants, but how do they safely clear the skin when it's this vulnerable?
It comes down to molecular size. Lactic and mandelic acids have significantly larger molecular weights than something like, say, glycolic acid.
So they can't go as deep.
Right. Because they are large, they penetrate the skin very slowly. They don't dive deep into the tissue to cause irritation. They just sit right near the surface and gently dissolve the microscopic glue holding the dead skin cells together.
And then the dull debris simply washes away, leaving the barrier perfectly intact.
Exactly.
Okay, so the barrier is calm, the lipids are patched, and the dead debris is cleared. This basically sets the stage for the heavy hitters. Gold standard number 1 is retinoids, which are often called the backbone of mature skincare.
They really are.
But wait, if the skin is thinner and the barrier was just recently compromised, won't a powerful retinoid just completely destroy it?
That is a very valid and critical concern. You cannot simply apply a strong prescription retinoid to a lipid-depleted face.
Right, that sounds painful.
It is. The clinical texts detail a specific menopausal retinoid protocol.
Right.
Step 1 is exactly what we just achieved. You restore the lipid barrier first. You lay down the ceramides and calm the inflammation.
And then?
Step 2 is utilizing the retinoid not as an exfoliant, but as a biological messenger.
What kind of message is it sending?
Well, you apply a tiny amount, starting maybe just once a week. The retinoid travels down to the dermal matrix, finds those sluggish fibroblast factories, and essentially rings the alarm bell.
It wakes them up?
Yes, it binds to their receptors and signals them to wake up and start manufacturing collagen again. And we also combine retinoids with peptides, which are short chains of amino acids.
I feel like I see peptides everywhere right now. Are they sending a similar message?
They are actually tricking the skin. See, when natural collagen breaks down, it fragments into peptides.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so by applying topical peptides, you trick your skin into thinking a massive amount of collagen has just been destroyed, which forces those factories to work even harder to replace it.